Uh, I forgot. I tried updating that last week, but clearly there was a little bit of a little export issue with that one. But welcome
Did,
back. We're
did
here
it
with another
always
episode.
have music? I that's the first time I heard the music.
That is the first time I tried adding it last week, and I forgot to update it, and then there was an export issue, and then I forgot to fix it today. Uh, we have music. uh, and we're here. Another episode of Paper and Plastic, episode 16, and we're back. I am your host, Pop and Sloth, and this is my good friend Dr. Plagus, and we're joined with a special guest.
Hi. Hello, I'm Dave, aka the West Coast Davengers, but I am tonight just the Davenger.
The Dave
Yes,
Venger.
sir.
Yeah. Yeah. There is just one of me right now.
Just for now.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much most of our viewers are going to be familiar with you, maybe a few not. But just all around just a great member of the comic book community if you'd consider yourself that.
Yeah.
Seller, hunter, reader, all of it. You dabble in, actually more than dabble in all things
Yeah.
comics and beyond. So yeah, if you just want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, you got the floor.
Well, I want to say thank you for inviting me on the Sweet 16. I feel so, like I should be listening to some cheesy music and like dancing with some girl that I have a crush on. But um my name's Dave, and what's up, Mark? And I am the West Coast Davengers, but it's more of a we're all Davengerinos. Um, I am a full time comic book slinger, as I like to put it. I do that for a living right here on YouTube. A little bit on. I started on Instagram and did a little bit of whatnot, but mostly on YouTube. But I've been a reader since the '80s. As a kid. I've been a collector since the '80s as a kid. Maybe lapsed once or twice in my life where I was just like, I'm gonna take a little time off. But yeah, I love comics in every way, shape, and form. Huge, 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 huge fan of artists. I have a saying about Todd McFarlane: when you see Todd, you buy Todd. And he is the sole reason why I became an art fan in general. But yeah, I've been doing this about 3.5 years selling comics. After COVID, working for the post office and deciding I was never going to work for anybody again. And then I got really interested in like I guess you want to say the journalism side of things. And I started to interview creators. And then I started a podcast called Direct Edition. And that's my lane to interview not just artists, but musicians, directors, actors, actresses, anybody I'm interested in that is putting stuff out that I want to talk about is my lane. So I've got the West Coast Avengers for the comic hunting, for the comic sales, for the big names like your Todd McFarlane or your Eric Larson interview, and then everybody else gets on Direct Edition. And that's really my story. I grew up in New York. I moved out to the West Coast here about 11 years ago, and never going back.
Mhm.
The only
Wow.
place I want to go is where Sloth is, or Scotland or Japan. Just get me the hell out of this country.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Still on the West Coast. Still
I
on the
know.
West Coast,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you have something to follow up with there, Doc?
Yeah, I was just gonna touch on like the selling. I've recently started to enter that world as well. And you talk about the various platforms that you sell on, and it's interesting because I'm kind of experiencing a little bit of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where is my place to sell? Like, years ago I tried the Whatnot, and I just realized I didn't have the inventory for it. Like, people are asking for stuff, and I was very limited on what I could offer, and so that just didn't take off. And then
Mm-hmm.
um where else have I haven't tried YouTube, but I kind of found, the way I'm doing it right now is working pretty good, but I was trying other ways on Instagram, and it really didn't work. And I go through phases where I'll sell for a little bit, I'll take a break, and I just kind of like have so much more respect for what you do and what you've built for yourself, because I can't imagine how much work it's taken to get to that point.
It's, it's interesting. Like I've been doing, I was selling, hustling, like it is a hustle. And I'm proud to use that adjective for myself, because hustle is not what it used to mean, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and guy with fake Rolex watches, like fake alcohol sales in New York, like you go to Times Square and they're selling you a bunch of shit that's not real. Um, and building it, I've been doing eBay since 99. I've been selling really since 2000, but like my eBay membership, like I opened my account in 99.
Yeah.
And it was always like just a what you call it, passive income. And just put stuff on there, autographs, hockey stuff, wrestling autographs, all the stuff that I've collected. But I remember in 2019, going into 2020, I had moved back I was in Portland for a year, and I moved back to Seattle with my ex. And I remember saying to her, like, I want to create something where I can sell and nobody gets a cut of it. It's all for me. I do all the work, and, some type of platform where I can do this. This was like right before all the claim sales on Instagram started and all that stuff. And so, you know, I'm I know that when I'm selling comics or anything for that matter on a live format, I'm selling my personality. Like you're here because you're enjoying the vibe that I put out and I want it to be fun. I'm a lunatic. I want people to enjoy, like Dave's the kind of person who might do or say anything within a bounds, Um and it's a lot of work. It is, but it is fun. Jacob, you watch my shows and you see me bouncing around this room, singing, just like somebody will name a movie and we'll start talking about a movie while I'm selling comics. And, there's so many people that do this. And I can't even talk about the sports car world because those people are like this, like worst. They're pond scum. But, the comic people that do this, 90% of them are dry. 90% of them have no sense of humor. They have no personality. And I'm not here to offend them, but I'm here to offer something more.
Right. Yeah. Well, like for me, and probably a large portion of your following, I constantly desire more and
Yeah.
something different. I'm already consumed all of your standard stuff, your
Mm-hmm.
Superman, your Batman, your X-Men, your, whatever. I've consumed most of that. And and that stuff's fun, don't get me wrong, and I'll
Sure.
continue to consume it, but I constantly desire more. It was like with Star Wars as a kid. I constantly talk about how, but I'm talking before episode 1, so all I had was the original trilogy and I loved it and
Mm-hmm.
I consumed it constantly, but I just wanted more. And so that's around the time I discovered Dark Horse Star Wars and the expanded universe. And
Yep.
so what I love most about following you, buying from you, watching you is you're constantly promoting something different, something out of the ordinary. You've got the standard stuff,
Yeah.
the key X-Men books and whatnot, but you also just have a wide variety of very obscure stuff, which you go into detail about, and next thing I know, it's coming to me in the mail, or many others. So the variety that you offer is unique compared to most other sellers, where they're just kind of constantly selling the
Same old, same
same.
old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which you know is fine for them and for most people, but um, yeah.
It's lovely when you see a seller selling an X-Men 5, a New Mutants 98, a Fantastic Four 48, 49, and 50, pre-code horror, all that stuff. Stuff we can't even afford to buy more than once, like in
Right.
a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it is like comics are now about 100, give or take 100, 110 years old. If we go back to early Frank King or like Hal Foster, all that stuff, the strip stuff. There is so much history in comics, and there are so many comics that have been produced in those 100 years. And if we're just looking at the Silver Age forward, there's not just thousands and thousands of titles, but within that, there's hundreds of thousands of books. And the only way, and we'll harp on this until the day I die, with movies, with music, with art, with anything that is a consumer based art form, the more you interact with it, the more you get to know it, the more interested you will stay in it, and the more interested you will stay in it forever. There will never be a point where you're like, we got sick of comics in the 90s because they wrung us out to dry, and there was nothing, but when you go back and you start looking at Fantagraphics in the 90s, you start looking at Caliber, you start looking at these other publishers, there is stuff that was there. We just didn't see it. And so my job is not just to sell books, but like every good drug dealer, it's to get you interested in all the drugs,
Yeah.
all of them, try mushrooms, try this if you like this and you're sick of that, and it's just, there's so much out there to be interested in. You can get interested in a molecular level with the artists, the writers, the publishers, the versions of the books that are printed, I love the idea, and I know Jacob, you're into it too, is the foreign books. Like there's a lot to learn. And I'm Sloth, I don't know if you are, but being in Canada, you at least have the variants, and you can just stay interested even in like McFarlane if you branch out to trying to collect all of the different foreign versions with the weird color schemes and the weird printings. I mean, my buddy Andrew P, he's been collecting that Spider-Man, was it 33, the one where Spidey realizes he has the powers, like he has superpower strength. And he's been collecting all the different foreign printings of it because they all look different. And it's some version of Ditko's art with a weird color scheme, a weird, like different cover image. So it's just such an intricate hobby. And when you open people's eyes to what comics really have to offer beyond the keys, beyond modern or beyond golden age, it's endless. The well is endless.
Yeah.
So that's truly how I feel when I do this.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I feel like we got real deep real fast, and I love this so much.
Yeah, we really went there.
However, on lighter side,
sure,
I am curious because we just had Free Comic Book Day. So it's been a bit of a fun week for us comic book nerds. Have you come across anything over the last week or so that you've been really jazzed about, or maybe picked up? Or
I picked up a couple of trades for Free Comic Book Day just because they were doing 20% off, and it was I wanted to start reading the new Ultimate Spider-Man. I read the first issue, I enjoyed it, so I was like, I'll grab the trade of that. All Nighter by Chip Zdarsky and Jason Liu, which I had missed out on, and Chip's one of my favorite writers. Picked up that trade, already read half of it. And then Public Domain, which is another Chip book. I wanted to own it in print because when you're a member of his Substack, you get it for free digitally. But I like holding my books and reading them. And then over here, I can bring them closer. But I did buy the J. Scott Campbell Marvel Rivals 4 set signed, and I got it in the mail today.
Oh man, those are some great covers.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's it.
Yeah, fair enough. Have you met Chip before?
Yes, and I had him on. I had him on the show. We did about an hour and a half, and I'll have him back again. He's such a great guy.
I think I've shared the story on the show before, but he came. Well, he did a tour of local comic book shops in Canada.
He did like 4 stores in Vancouver, right?
He did a couple of 4 in Vancouver, and then I was living in Victoria at the time.
Oh, that's right.
And I was actually
Victoria.
Yeah, I was working across the street from the comic book shop, and so I was just frantically going like back and forth, like trying to build up the courage to be like, "Can you sign a couple more books for me?" Like, but he's just the nicest, just a pinnacle of Canadian just
Yes.
kindness.
Yes, he is, and he's got just such a great sense of humor. Sex Criminals is probably one of my I would put it in my top 10 favorite books of all time.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're in such a glorious time of writers in
Hmm.
comics. Like we are so lucky to have not only writers writing the big stories, like your Batmans and stuff, but then they're also doing these side projects where they get to flex like
Yeah.
all of it. Uh, is there someone or a couple of writers in particular beyond Chip and Todd, that
Um,
you've been just really liking lately?
well, I'm a big fan of I mean I haven't read everything Scott Snyder's done, but between where I really discovered him was the New 52 Batman, and now here we are with Absolute Batman. Kelly Thompson, who's writing Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder
Mhm.
Woman. Yeah, Absolute. No, yeah,
Yeah,
Absolute.
yeah,
Tynion's great, but I don't have the capacity to read everything that guy writes because it's just too much.
yeah.
Um, I give a shout out to my buddy Jim Mafood, who uh, created his first bootleg Kickstarter comic, Savage Street Vigilante, this past year.
Oh.
It's uh, it's a romp. It's a romp. Um,
It's really
other,
good.
yeah, yeah, and other than that, just book wise, I can just kind of rattle off like Matt Wagner and Kelly Jones have been. They did a Kickstarter for the Dracula book last year. The second Kickstarter is going to be this year. They're doing three, maybe four Dracula books. Easily the best Dracula book that's ever been written in the comic format.
Hmm.
And then special shout out to right up here, Somna, Becky Cloonan, and Tula Lote are two of my favorite comic creators. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like I like Bendis, but
Mhm.
I'm not reading anything he's currently writing. Um,
What is he putting out these days?
I feel like he was gearing up to do something with DC, but I don't know. I actually don't
Yeah,
know what he's doing right now.
it. w-
Might be doing some TV stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I saw his name on like everything, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared.
Yeah, because I think he may have. Well, he does some creator owned stuff, so I just don't know.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
Um, Other than that, like I do follow big writers. I'm a big writer fan. Like for a long time, I was reading everything Garth Ennis put out. And his Punisher run is just legendary, amazing. And The Boys, obviously, and
mhm.
Preacher, and you can just go on with him.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that's really kind of what I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
I like to dip into miniseries a lot because then I don't have to be a slave to continuity.
I mean, that's a whole other book of worms.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Continuity, man. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a headache. That's why these absolute and ultimate books make sense to me because you can get in and eventually you'll find your way out. I mean, I read Ultimate Spider-Man as it was coming out in trade, the original Bendis series,
mm,
and I loved it. I loved it, and then it was done, and then they introduced Miles Morales, and I loved Miles, and then then it diluted into the 616, and I'm like, peace.
yep, yep, yep. And apparently I don't even know what they're doing with. I think Miles is going back to the Ultimate or something
Got me.
potentially.
You got me.
Yeah. Uh, that's too funny though. Yeah. I mean, are you on Ultimate X-Men right now?
I read the first trade. Love me some Peach.
Yeah.
Oh, and gotta also say, probably my favorite artist writer, Danny
Mm,
Warren Johnson, hands down. That guy has continuously just brought it and brought it and brought it, and I like to refer to him as the comic savior.
oh.
he's, he's the current Jesus of comics.
Do you have a for any anyone watching or listen, any recommendations off the top of your head for some of his work?
Everything. I mean,
Okay.
Extremity, Duo Powerbomb, Murder Falcon, Transformers,
Yeah.
Beta Ray Bill,
Yep.
Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, boom. And like
Yeah.
the great thing about it is, his Transformers run's coming to an end pretty soon. It's 24 issues, I think. He's currently working on his next creator-owned projects. It's sci-fi saga. But I got hooked with Murder Falcon. No, I'm sorry, I read Do a Powerbomb first,
Yeah.
and then Murder Falcon. And it was like, just a breath of fresh air like I haven't felt in comics in decades.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I mean, yeah, I remember reading Beta Red Bill, and at that point I didn't really know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I remember reading it and being like, this is like really cool. Like just cool to give this character so much attention and detail. So yeah, I mean, when he started doing Transformers, it was like issue 1, it was just fantastic from the
So
start.
yeah,
It's funny. Jacob knows this. I think I've said it before. I didn't grow up a Transformers fan. I was He-Man, Thundercats, Star Wars, but wasn't I liked the toys, but I wasn't into it like most of my friends. And he made me a Transformers fan. Like that book instantly made me a Transformers fan. And like if you can't think of a better mark of a good writer, an artist, then yeah.
And quick note on that too is it feels so authentic to Transformers,
Mhm.
which is just, I think anyone who grew up on Transformers, they read that series and they're like, thank you, you know?
Yeah, while adding like a little spice, a little new feel into it, like, throwing wrestling moves in there or having Optimus Prime, take Megatron's arm, the gun. And it's just like it's just brilliant in a way that you wouldn't expect somebody to handle the Transformers,
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but he and if you like Daniel Warren Johnson, you got to subscribe to his YouTube channel. It goes live every Friday,
Oh.
and he's like the friendliest dude. And he just, he's usually drawn for like a half hour. Um, he's awesome. And also, I got to plug the 2 interviews I did with him, and 3 actually, technically. So,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah, and
good.
by the way, we got all of Dave's links down in the description, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
they're
And
all down there for anyone who's not following. Get down there,
yeah,
break away for a minute, subscribe to everything. It's
you can also, I put
seriously.
2 comments in the chat, one from Direct Edition, my podcast, and one from West Coast. So you can just click on those and
Yeah.
hit the sub and, enjoy. I've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I don't know if I can really. There's a big interview that Jacob's going to flip out as long as it happens at the end of this month. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to flip.
Oh, really?
You're going to flip out. Because I'm gonna flip out.
All right.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Well,
I always have a fresh stack of raw books to bag and board for Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
Sunday.
I love it when you post that stuff.
Do you have anything you want to show off real quick, Doc? I know. Did you pick up anything interesting over the Free Comic Book Day weekend?
Yeah, we can go on to hauls. We'll save Dave for last because I think I know what you
Yeah,
got.
I mean,
And
I
it's
just have that one thing to really show off.
yeah, we'll save it for last. It's quite good. Yeah, so Saturday free comic book day. The new shop in town was doing fill a short box for $75. And
Ridiculous.
he provided the short box, so they're kind of the older, a little bit shorter ones, like
Yeah.
maybe by 4 or 5 inches tops. They're not that much shorter, and it's weird because somehow I took I filled the short box jam packed, and somehow when I put it in the modern short box or whatever you would call it, it still barely fit in there. So I'm not sure how that works out, but
It's like when you're pouring water into one glass that looks bigger, and it's like,
yeah,
wait, no, it's the same size.
it was weird. I could barely fit him in there. I'm like, how does this it doesn't make sense. But anyways, I squeezed 216 books in there, so
Wow,
I
that's
did really good. I love me some bulk. I love filling in runs more than anything.
you got that
So
completionist mentality. I like it.
oh, I do. I don't know. It's what I prefer, I guess. Like love him to death, but our buddy Um, Rohan,
Yeah.
he's got like, I don't know exactly how many books in his collections, but it seems like it's maybe 10 or
Yeah,
something.
it's something like that.
it,
Yeah.
it's very minimal, and he knows what he likes and he has it, and that's for him. But it drives me nuts. I'm like, how can you live like that, like,
Yeah, yeah. How can you yeah.
yeah, he like made it a goal to purchase the whole Silver Surfer Volume 1 run, or get that in a year, and then he accomplished it, and then immediately sold it. Like,
Doesn't
that's
make any
crazy. But
sense.
everybody collects differently, and I'm not judging it. Just, yeah,
Some people have a PlayStation achievement type collecting goal.
yeah. um so anyways, so basically the way this shop works is, one half of the shop is like all raw comics, and those are all just anything raw is $1, and
Mhm.
then on the other half of the shop, it's all bagged and boarded, and all of that stuff is $3. So he was doing, fill a short box of dollar comics for $75, and then it was 10 for 25, so you're getting them for like 250 in the $3 books.
Mm.
But i I went for the dollar. The I don't know what that equates out to, but it like 30 cents a book, so
Yeah, it's something like that.
pretty great. So I got a solid run of the original run of
Nice.
Bone,
Yeah, cartoon books run.
35 all the way down to 15.
You don't see those often at all.
No, and especially not for $1. I mean,
No.
I think the scarcity of these books kind of commands a little bit of a premium. These are just some highlights, no major keys or anything. Um, I love any of the work that Mignola did on the uh, Batman Dark Knights series.
Mhm.
Mm.
So I got this awesome annual #1, which is
Love it.
some great Mignola work there. Everybody knows that I'm a huge Ron Lim fan, so I found a
Oh,
pretty
there you go.
awesome Infinity Wars cover there.
He's done so many variants in the last 15 years for Marvel. It's wild. I keep finding
Yeah,
them.
yeah, him and that Israel Silva guy, just they're an awesome team,
Yeah.
as far as variants go. And any variant I see, even if it's a series I don't collect or read, I buy it.
Mhm.
You know, I love everything that he does. He did a Jeff the Land Shark
Mhm.
variant. I'm not a fan, but I had to buy that variant.
Wait, have you
Uh,
have you played Marvel Rivals though?
I
He
don't play
doesn't.
Yeah,
Marvel
you'd be a
Rivals.
fan. You'd be a
Yeah.
fan if you did.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm well aware. Um, this was one I'm not familiar with. Tug and Buster.
Mhm. Yeah, I had a hardcover of that recently, signed hardcover I sold.
Okay, yeah, looked interesting. I love the interior art on this, black and white, but just very
Oh, sick.
animated.
Mhm. It's got like a Ralph Bakshi kind of feel to it, like Cool World.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Holy crap! And I couldn't find.
I got you.
Um, when it comes to stuff like this is, I've learned you buy this stuff, and that comes directly from Dave.
What can I say? I'm a good or bad influence depending on
Well,
who's
yeah,
looking.
and then I think too, that's a lot of influence from cartoonist kayfabe, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
um I've said my amongst my favorite videos of theirs, I like when they break down books, but my absolute favorite stuff, because this is probably the content I can most relate to, is their 25-cent bin sales
Yeah.
that they would go to, and they'd go through these halls, and they'd have a whole bunch of books like that you've never heard of, weird art, and they'll just briefly break each one down and either shit on it or praise it. um And then another one of
Yeah.
these. This is just one of my favorite covers. And the interior as well is just, I mean,
Yeah, it's a one-shot Mignola. It's
yeah.
so dope. By the
Um,
back cover, by the way, one of the greatest movies of all time.
what was that?
Back cover.
Oh,
Demolition Man, baby.
oh, geez, yeah. Um, I've shown that book off like 3 times on this show. So, and then lastly, this wasn't a part of any of that, but mentioned him earlier. Aaron from A1's Comics.
Yeah, we love Aaron.
Yes, great, another great member. Hopefully, we can have him on someday. He doesn't do a ton of stuff like this, but I think I could get him on. He's hosting his first comic book swap down there,
Yeah, yeah, at the
and
brewery.
yeah, so I made the flyer for him. I designed that,
Oh.
and I wasn't gonna. I had no intentions of charging him or anything, but he insisted on paying me something, and so I said I'd accept comics or a comic, and so he told me, you know, here's how much I'm willing. Here's the value I'm willing to give you in comics.
Mm-hmm.
And so went through his inventory and found a nice
Oh,
upgrade.
nice. First Iron Fist. Nice.
So I had a really nice copy, probably equivalent to this, in the 8.0 range, maybe better, but it had just a little chip missing off the corner here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what, I'll upgrade. I'll finally get the completed, and just really happy about that.
Sweet.
So,
Congrats on that.
oh,
That's
and
awesome.
then you dabble in some statue and figure collecting, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
used to have a wildly large Lord of the Rings statue collection, and you just can't travel around the country with that. You can't move across the country with all of that. But yeah, I've got some figures, some McFarlane stuff, Jar Jar
Yeah,
Binks stuff.
that's gonna come up at some point.
Oh no.
Well, as you know, our show's about the toys too. So,
Yeah, look at that firestorm.
picked up the Firestorm. Happy to finally have him. And I also got Psycho Pirate, but I'm not gonna show it off because apparently Malcolm bought me one too. So
Oh,
about to have 2 of those. So
well, you have
And that
Psycho Pirates.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and that Firestorm's a little bit older too. I haven't been able to find that one.
yeah, yeah. It's great. They did a great job on him. I'll be making a post of him soon.
Are you guys bummed that they're losing the DC license?
We have been very cautious about that because we're waiting for like official announcements.
Yeah, there hasn't been one.
Yeah, we've discussed it at lengths because I don't want it to go anywhere,
Sure.
and I
Yeah.
refuse to believe it is going anywhere.
Yeah,
But
because they've doubled up on licenses before.
yeah,
Like he does his multiverse stuff, they can do the continuity stuff.
I mean McFarlane does Marvel statues now.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
them too much, and I had to stop buying them already.
Yeah.
Speaking of McFarlane, I did pick up a couple McFarlane figures as
Ooh.
well. Actually, I had no intention of picking these up this weekend, but I got I don't know if you guys can really see it here, but it's
Oh,
the Rookie and the Mr. Bloom 2-pack
Mm-hmm.
here. Regularly like $60 or something, $70 Canadian. My local GameStop, $5.
Damn, they're just blowing out the inventory.
Yeah, so
$5 Canadian? Hold on,
five
$5.
Canadian dollars.
So it's like $3 for us.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
crazy because Target here it's on sale still for like $50. I'm like,
Wow.
So I was very happy when I found that, and I'm glad because it was a figure set I was going to pick up initially when it first came out, but I was like, it's kind of expensive. I'll wait
Yeah.
till it goes on sale because no one's going to buy these anyways, except for me. And sure enough, it did. So patience pays off.
It does.
And while I was at that GameStop, I actually found the Ultimate Iron Man Marvel Legends.
yeah.
For those who don't know, I'm not a really big Iron Man fan. not even really big on the character design. Ultimate Iron Man, though, I don't know what about it. I love the character design.
It's got that weird hexagonal head.
It's very like anime mech kind of, little Gundam-y. I love it. And also, the Maximum Spider-Man came in. So that's the new Marvel Legends high price Spider-Man. That's, at least from my understanding, it's the McFarlane Spider-Man kind of is the inspiration. So I'm like, I'll pay whatever for McFarlane. I know the rule.
That's right. That's right. Some idiot once said it.
Yeah. And then for any anime fans out there, I picked up another little anime figure here. This is the character Deku from My Hero Academia. And my way to tell if I like the articulation on a figure is I put him in the Spider-Man #1 pose. And that's how I know I like the articulation on him. So there you go. There's Deku in his Spider-Man #1.
One of the most homage poses of all time.
Yeah.
Deku is my daughter's first crush.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Your daughter, Akira.
No, not Akira.
Oh, okay.
My oldest, she just turned 13 this past weekend, actually. So.
Oh, happy
Okay,
birthday.
so you know the character a little bit then.
Oh yeah, we've got a few figures around.
Okay, that's awesome. And then I actually picked up a comic for New Comic Book Day. My shop was surprisingly doing 40% off all back issues.
Oh wow.
So I took it upon. I grabbed some stuff for you, Doc. Don't worry, I got stuff. For you. But I've been in there a million times, so there wasn't really anything jumping out to me. So I figured I'm going to start collecting 1 in 25s for the just different Absolute Universe stuff that's going on. So this is a 1 in 25 for Absolute Superman #6, and I don't know. The artwork was just kind of speaking to me.
Who's the artist on it? Do you know?
Rod Rees.
Oh yeah.
Rod Rees,
yeah. So the price on that guy was $20 originally. I think I paid like 16 or something, 15, $16.
Nice.
Again, Canadian, so do it as you will. But yeah, that was my little haul. So
nice.
Slowly but surely getting 1 in 25s for the Absolute stuff.
Yeah. So before we give Dave the floor, let's say hi to some people.
Oh,
we totally neglected the chat.
I mean, I've been saying hi with my eyes to Derek and Mark and Ken.
Yeah, I see a few names I'm not familiar with. So
Finger and Toes, Chem Dog.
What's up, Chem?
Yeah.
Chem Dog. Razor Ramen's in here.
Paul.
Of course, our good friend Samrock, our most loyal viewer.
Yeah, definitely.
Paper and Chase Comics are hanging out. And
good old Derek.
Derek.
Yeah. Derek's a good one too. So
Derek's a good one too.
Derek is a community spotlight. He's a light in the community.
Yeah.
Good people.
And then John with Paper Chase, we'll be having him on soon. I'll be reaching out to him. So
nice.
Yeah,
I chase paper.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing some really great stuff right now too, with collections and education and all of that. Yeah, so we'll get him on. But anyways,
you guys,
Dave,
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat here, waiting to know what Dave's got sitting next.
I mean, it's no big deal. It's just a stack of Turok #1s. Turok 1, greatest comic book. Oh, just kidding. There's a little story. My newest video explains the story, and there's an older video where I flip through the actual book you're about to see. But my most recent submission came back from CGC, and it's a Detective 140 First Riddler. It came back a 5.0 after my presser worked on the book. And just give me 1 sec here. I just realized I think I'm getting another CGC submission back, but it's probably tomorrow. Anyway, I bought this book about 2 years ago, and I'll tell the story, for the people that don't know it. I was sitting at my kitchen table. I was having coffee with a friend, and I opened OfferUp to. That's right, Derek. I opened OfferUp because I do a lot of buying, or I find a lot of collections on local selling apps, Craigslist, Facebook, all that stuff. And I see a listing, and it just said, I think it just said either Batman comic or just comic book, and it was a picture of this. And like I did a double take because like it didn't register to me at first what picture, like what this book was, because how many times in our lives collectively have you seen this book? Like it just got reprinted for a facsimile, but before that, this wasn't an image that was everywhere. This was like an image that Golden Age Batman fans knew like the back of their hand. And I almost closed the app and I looked again and I'm like, wait, what? Is that the first Riddler? And I quickly just Googled Detective 140 and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the first Riddler. And so I hit this lady up and I said, hey, I'm interested in buying this. And she's like, well, I think the post said that they had to pay an equine vet bill, which is a horse vet bill. And they were selling this and they said they knew it was, I think they were charging $5,000 for it. And so I arranged to go meet the lady at their house the next day, and they live somewhere between here and Yakima, let's just say Eastern Washington, but not over the mountains, but like close to being over the pass.
Okay.
And so I go there, I go to the bank to take that day, and I just take out like $4,000. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm buying this book. I don't really care. And I go to look at it, and they said that they found it in a box in the attic in the house, in like, it was their grandpa's stuff. And she showed me the box of comics, and it was like a carton with a whole bunch of just Dell Gold Key, Golden Age stuff, most of it wrecked. Like, and this. And she said she looked it up. She said it was an expensive book, and I ended up buying it for. I originally thought it was. I paid $3,700 for it, and I just kept it raw. I didn't know what to do with it because you can't resell a book like this raw. Like that's comic book illegal, And so yeah, I finally just said, okay, I've had it for a couple of years. It's time to move on, and I sent it in, and the last sale on this book on Heritage in January was 12. So I'll be selling it. I just don't know what avenue. It's really tough for me to sell books like that to my audience. Doesn't really spend that kind of money on those books, which I completely understand because I don't spend that kind of money on books like that.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, I love that fact that I rescued this book and that like I got to, when I first got it, I did a full flip through of it. There's literally a video of me flipping through it so you could see the inside of it. Because I think with some of these books, it's a service to the rest of the community to show everybody what the inside of this book looks like. And one of the coolest things about it, I didn't even look to see if it says it on the slab. There's a Kirby backup in here because this is when Detective was doing 3 stories. And there's a Kirby backup in there. Maybe even 2. I think one of them is what's Green Commandos, but I can't remember. I'd have to rewatch my video. But I one thing I wanted to say when we were talking about selling before, and Jacob, you mentioned like me bringing in my own crowd and having like great community. What most sellers don't do, and I know a lot of sellers that deal in big books or just expensive books, they do. You have to do flip throughs, but I spend time with every book that I price. So, in between now and my next sale, which is probably not for another 2 weeks, I will pull books out, and I'll rebag and board anything that needs to be rebagged and boarded, and I'll flip through them, and I'll make sure that they're not messed up, that there's not something missing from the interior. And in that, I get to discover a lot of things about comics. I get to see stuff that maybe, like a backup story or a pinup, or I hit the signature lottery, which is, one of my favorite things. And, and then obviously the Mark Jeweler lottery. But I don't think a lot of people that sell really take the time to individually price and give an approximate grade to each book. And that's part of my service is you're not just buying books for me. You're buying books that you can trust they are what I say they are. in every way, shape, or form. Every once in a while I mess up because I'm a human, and that's okay. But it's few and far between. You know, it just happens every once in a while when I mess up. It's like a book that I shouldn't have messed up with.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I definitely could be better at that as a seller. I tend to occasionally get a collection and sell it,
Yeah.
sell books as is, and hope for the best. And thankfully, everything's been all good. But that's definitely an area I could step up on in my game.
Well,
Uh,
you sell books cheap enough that the liability isn't that huge. Like if somebody's buying a $3 book from you and they complain that
mhm.
it's like in a condition that it should be for $2, you can give them one of those and
Right,
say,
and I'm not the I'm not the most polite seller either, because I'll list a book that in good condition would be, we'll say it would be $50, and I've got it on for $5, and someone in my claim sale, and someone messages me and asks me, what's the condition? I'll literally respond with $5 condition.
yeah,
Like,
exactly, exactly. Like you don't
I
go to a comic store and dig through a dollar bin and be like, oh, this should only be 50 cents because it's
yeah,
not in good condition. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I I have strong words for people like that.
Yeah. I only do a little bit of selling. I have a career outside of that. I'm just trying to get, affordable books into people's hands.
Yeah,
I don't have time for the bullshit, so
it's too much.
I don't know how far I'm gonna go in the selling world, and I'm not really trying to. I do occasionally buy a collection and want to move, some of the stuff
Yeah.
that I'm not holding on to, and that's kind of all it is.
You're
So,
you're funding the hobby, which is like what everybody who collects that doesn't make a living off of, a comic book store or something I do. Like everybody should try to do that because it actually helps other people too acquire stuff that they're looking for while you're building a little cachet of cash to buy a big book or another collection or whatever, or a toy that is, like I was looking at the new Star Wars Hot Toys releases and I saw the Jar Jar and I'm like, damn,
Hold
man,
up.
I like really want it, but it's like 250 or 350 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not even joking. I've been like staring at the Hot Toys thing on my side screen, waiting for a chance for us to talk about the Hot Toys stuff.
Look at that. I didn't even know that. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just teed you up for it.
this is perfect. So I'm going to save the Jar Jar one for last because it's really good.
It is.
And he doesn't know about your fascination with this
Right. That's
character, so
that's hilarious.
So I gotta show these because I think they're just some of the coolest figures coming out right now. The first one is this Darth Vader
mm,
that has the
Oof.
dueling effect. So you can
Yeah.
kind of see he's got like blue and red like highlights
Yeah.
on him.
So it's like from Obi-Wan. It's
Yeah,
almost like from that last episode.
yeah. And it just look like
It's
I feel
beautiful.
like we've had debates on whether we like this kind of like comic highlighting on different figures. Uh on Vader, oh man,
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
looks so good.
That's the character to do it with.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Give a little bit of character, for lack of a better term, to all that black, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so that one looks great. The other one that really, oh, we lost
Oh.
Dave, maybe.
Oh.
Uh,
He'll pop back in.
yeah, he'll pop back in here in a second. I'll send him a link just in case. Oh, I have this. Oh, no, there he is. We got him.
Yeah, I went to connect the chat and all that, and I clicked the wrong thing, and it sent me flying out.
The Dark Nihilus is coming out too.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Just another. Oh man, that. So I have the Hot Toys Moon Knight, and I
Mhm.
love the way that figure looks because it's so much like natural material,
Yeah, they
and they
really.
just with the Star Wars figures, man. Like
Also,
uh,
shout out to their product photographer. Whew.
Mhm.
Their product photographer really knows how to sell these.
they just, yeah, just such a great amount of detail.
Yeah.
I wish we could get more comic books story of him.
Yeah.
They've got some novels of him which are really good, but I would just love to have some art to go along with that because
Wasn't that character in Dark Horse somewhere in one of the
yeah,
books?
he was in a few issues. His first appearance was really cool. It was like a 4 page. I wouldn't even call it a story, but it's just all black and white, really just dark and cold.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I go back to that often. And then I think he had a few appearances in
I
Legacy.
think it was Legacy. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
because I had all those books because I
Hmm.
bought multiple. It was like 2 years ago. I bought multiple collections with all the Dark Horse runs, and that's
And I
I
think I
had.
have them now.
Yeah, you have a lot of it. You have a lot of it, dude. I had like three, almost four long boxes of Dark Horse Star Wars at one point.
Wow.
No, it's
Yeah.
kind of nuts because it's just people bought it. It's Star Wars. They're sitting in collections still somewhere. I'll get them. All of
And they got to be some of the best character designs in Star Wars too.
Mhm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
every one of these, kind of like the Sith from like this kind of side of Star Wars.
Yeah. The Old
Yeah,
Republic era. Yeah.
they're all fun designs.
Coolest characters.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got to talk about the.
Oh, Misa gonna love this figure. Okie day. Almost 13 inches of Jar Jar.
Jesus.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Come on, take all of Catholicism and just replace Jesus with Jar Jar. Make it so much better. I mean, take any religion with a prophet and replace it with
good
Jar
Lord.
Jar, and it makes it so much better. Imagine you walk into like your local church and that is staring you in the face. Okie day.
I actually can't argue with any of that.
No, I mean, look, I don't understand. Like, I don't know if you guys watched the newest Disney season of Industrial Light and Magic, their documentary series about ILM.
Mm.
Their newest season that just dropped like a week or so ago
Mhm.
goes into ILM starting with episode 1. And they talk about how, Ahmed Best is all over the first 2 episodes, and they talk about how like the media really is what turned everybody against Jar Jar, which is weird because like he's no more annoying than 3PO was in the original trilogy. Like they are the same character. They're created to be that buffoon that spoke to kids a little bit more than, like a Shaggy, like Shaggy does in Scooby-Doo.
Mhm.
And I just like, I love Ahmed Best's story now, like his rebound from it and all that. But man, Jar Jar's ridiculous, and I identify with that character so hard, so hard.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, man, you need this just to put it in your Christmas display next year, huh?
I needed one in each room. I need one in the guest room. I need one in the office. I need one in the bedroom.
And on the right in the bathroom.
No joke. No joke. No joke. Okay,
Weird.
I rented a house that's got two bedrooms and an office and living room and all that. There's Jar Jar stuff in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms in this house. 5.
Wow.
Guest bathroom's got Jar Jar. Yeah, you're you know what? Like I may be one of those people that ends up in some weird serial killer documentary that never killed anybody, but it was like all of the victims were like, it was the Jar Jar stuff.
Do you remember when episode 1 came out, the figures were getting released before the movie?
Yeah.
And so we were seeing like, we were getting like all these characters that,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we were seeing in previews, but we really didn't know anything about. And we're getting these figures for them. And I remember, obviously Darth Maul was number 1. Like I had to have that figure. But the Jar Jar figure, I was like so hyped to get that, and yeah. But I don't.
Back there.
Yeah. Don't hate the character. Just not as fascinated with him as you are.
I mean, it's funny because it's like kind of a joke, but then at the same time, like the whole fan theory of him being a Sith is like the most glorious thing that's come out of Star Wars fans, period. You know, and it's inspired all of this original art that I have,
Yeah.
now, because I get commissions of people doing Darth Jar Jar, and I just ask them, like, I'm like, whatever you think that means, do it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, the the droid decals. The Derek was
Oh, yeah.
naming that. You know what I loved about those figures? The com chip thing where you put
Oh,
the
yeah.
little chip on the thing and it said. I mean, they really had us by the throat with
Oh,
all the
yeah.
marketing for episode 1.
Yeah. So I would mow my
Yes.
grandpa. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Things are so. Oh, they are droid deca,
Oh
which is
yeah.
like a terrible name.
It
It really is. It really is.
So cool looking though. Really
Oh
cool.
yeah. Like, how did the Empire ever lose? They were technologically advanced, but you know what? That's every empire loses because they think that the people don't matter.
Mm-hmm. This figure is actually kind of insane though. Like just looking at it, I'm like, that looks like.
Oh, what
Like-
is it? Metal? I wonder if it's made out of metal. Like if it's got a decent weight to it.
I would be surprised if it wasn't some sort of.
Yeah, details.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? That would be awesome if there was a picture next to that of Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And their entire everything on their website where it says what's in the box, it's just a picture of Brad Pitt.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me what, unless I'm missing it here.
Might have been on the first slide. Was it on the
Metallic copper paint?
Oh, there.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So it is probably not metal then.
No, probably not.
Man,
That's too bad.
We're in the golden age of toys. I'm actually like, it's funny because I know you guys love toys and I do too, but I can't. Like, I can't collect it because I used to have a huge toy collection. Like, you want to talk about episode 1? Not only did I have everything, but I had an unopened of everything as well. And then Power of the Force, I had every Power of the Force figure unopened. And then my OG Star Wars collection. And I sold it all. I started collecting the Lord of the Rings first wave of the Weta sideshow stuff. And that stuff's beautiful. Like, that's museum quality stuff. And I just couldn't do it anymore because I saw the path, and the path was really heavy and really bulky.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I try to stay to like, what is McFarlane, like 7 inch, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're 7, yeah.
Yeah, 7 inch and smaller. Besides for the mega figs, I'll let those slide.
Well, and then I'm collecting some of those McFarlane statues. I mean, I have the Venom ones up here and the Green Goblin one, but I got the Hulk one, the cover to 345. Man, that thing is massive. Where is it?
Yeah, all right.
Oh yeah, there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Wolvie. Yeah, and like they're so impressive looking, but it's like you have to be a dedicated collector. Otherwise, it becomes the thing where you're like, oh, I'll buy this, it's cool. And then you can't stop at just the one thing.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a cycle.
it's
an unrelenting cycle.
And the stuff gets better and better.
So we're just coming up on the hour mark here. And usually around that point in the show, we talk about our sponsors. X, do you want to talk about our good friend Imperial Comics?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief because he's gonna come on just for a little bit next episode. So yeah, I mean everybody pretty much knows the spiel. Follow him on Instagram and keep an eye out for his daily story claims. Looks like he's got him up this week. And you know, check out his website for the filler. I think he's starting to get onto Whatnot. So I'm sure he'll talk about that next week.
Jacob's an AI.
Yeah, you broke up a little bit there, but I think we got the gist of it. Yeah. Check the claim sales, the website. He's going to be on next week. We're going to be talking to him about the day in the life of Imperial Comics, seeing what goes on.
He's got a lot of stuff going.
He does, and
a lot
so
of new stuff.
Oh,
Being Imperial Comics, do you think he has to worry about guys like Cassian Andor?
Yeah, I think so.
That's on every Tuesday night as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 3 episodes dropped today.
3?
Jeez.
Yeah, they're doing 4 weeks of 3 episodes, and that's the season.
Wow.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
It
Yeah,
is.
we really took a hit through Daredevil season. I mean, all our episodes prior were really, for being new, fairly successful. And
Yeah,
then
and
Daredevil
then Daredevil.
hits, and we're just totally fell off a cliff. But it's all good
Yeah,
because we do have some really, some really great, consistent viewers that kind of, interact with us, which makes the show really easy to just kind of like yours, someone's
yeah,
constantly talking to you, so you're able to just keep the conversation flowing.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty seamless.
Yeah. So
And man, I'm so jealous when we flip through Imperial stuff sometimes because I'm like, there's no way I can get my hands on this because of being up in Canada. There's what am I going to pay? $100 in shipping? Come on.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It gets to be rough with shipping up there.
Luckily, we have another friend of ours of the channel. They operate under the eBay page Anho9743, and they're based out of Canada. So for all my Canadian friends, we've got a sponsor for you. Lots of really cool, more modern stuff. Lots of cool variants, exclusives, limited stuff, a couple keys here and there. Stuff that's just generally harder to find in Canada. So this is a nice place to check out. Take a little looky-loo, see if there's anything that jumps out to you that might be something you're missing in your collection, or just a
Mm.
cool piece of art that you just want to. I mean, like that's just a cool. Speaking of Chip,
Yeah, there you go. Silver coin 1.
yeah, Silver Coin #1. That's just a sweet cover as well.
It's wild.
So yeah, make sure you guys check them out. We've got descriptions for literally everybody, or links in the description for literally everybody. So make sure you guys check it out and support the folks who support us.
Yeah.
There you
Thanks.
go. There you go. Paul asked if any of us are making it out to Heroes Con or Eddie P Con this year. I will be at both.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just booked my hotel for Heroes Con. I just got to wait for my flight because I got to see if I'm going to go visit my brother in Raleigh or just doing Charlotte and going home. And then, I'll be at Eddie P Con. I'll be in Pittsburgh probably that whole week for it.
So last year I think was, you may have heard, but a big group of the Big B and Lunch Money Mike and Rohan, I think they all met at
Rose.
one. Well, yeah, they had a meeting
terrific.
prior to that.
Terrific Con.
Terrific, yeah. So this year, Heroes is their big one,
Mm.
which I was gonna try to go to, but then I just had this trip to Vegas that kind of interfered with that. But I'm lightly trying to plan to go to Eddie Pecan.
You should. It's going to be killer.
I would really like to. We'll see if I can swing that. It's a little bit later in the year, right?
Yeah, it's September. I want to say the 3rd weekend in September, 2nd or 3rd. And, you watched the videos last year, but there's 20 plus comic stores in Pittsburgh, in the surrounding area of Pittsburgh. I mean, me and Jim went to, I want to say like 8 or 9 comic stores in 2.5 days. So,
Yeah.
You lucky dogs.
I'll be up in Vancouver in August for a couple days.
Oh, is there something, or just for visit, or
9 Inch Nails at the Rogers, and then I'll probably just stay 2 nights and just hit a bunch of the stores there. Yeah. But
there's some
nice.
there's some cool places down there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because I'll be in Seattle in July, I think, for My Chemical Romance.
Oh yeah, they're doing the baseball stadium, right?
Yeah. So I know me and Doc are going to try to go check out some shops in Seattle.
Yeah. So I'll holler at you, Dave. See if
I love that band, but I used to see them I used to see them a lot, and I refuse to pay what they're charging for tickets right now.
Yep. Don't remind me about that.
No, I know it's a kick in the. It really is, like, not to go off on a tangent, but I went to the first tour of Black Parade, and I paid, I don't know, $30
Mhm.
$30 to see them, you know, and it's just like, I get it, but I don't like it.
A few weeks ago on the show, we did a little bit of a game. That game revolved around the idea of there's some obscure characters in the
Mhm.
world of Marvel and DC. Sometimes you can't tell who's from where. So we're bringing it back. I've got a new list of characters here. So we're going to look at who is Marvel and who is DC. If you're just joining us for the first time for this game, it's pretty simple. I'm going to throw up two characters. One's Marvel and one's DC, probably. And
Probably.
we're gonna figure out. We're gonna get to the bottom of it. So these first couple characters. Let's see if anyone recognizes anybody here. Oh, how do I? There we go. Oh, man, I should have made these images a little bit bigger. Oh wow.
And we love chat participation on this as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, I
Oh,
could.
oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
We
oh
already
no.
go.
Too many buttons.
So I was gonna say the one on the left is
Mhm.
definitely Marvel because it looks like it's a Jim Lee or a Rob Liefeld. You know, it
Mhm.
looks like a pre-image character from one of those guys. You know, maybe
Mhm.
you know maybe
X-Force.
Silvestri. Yeah, like Mark
Yeah.
Casella, something like that.
Any
I don't know who the
any
hell that
reckon?
is.
No idea who this is.
No,
Okay.
it's Emma Peel from The Avengers, the TV show.
How'd you know? No, it's not. So I'll be honest. I made these like a few days ago, so I don't remember who's who. So we're gonna learn together. I I want to guess too. I think you're right. I think the Marvel is the character on the left here, and the black and white one is DC. And let's see.
I saw, yeah.
Marvel Kona Lord.
I forgot. These ones were both Marvel.
They're both
Oh,
Marvel.
And we actually I include their names this time. So we got Kona Lore and One-Eyed Jackie.
What an awful, awful name.
And these are two actual characters who've been published in Marvel Comics. Sorry.
It's so One-Eyed Jackie is so small on my screen. She looks like a lady long shot almost. It's weird.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, no, that Marvel Kona Lore is a 90s character.
Yeah,
I just
100%.
looked it up real quick.
I'm certain one of these is DC though. I'm 100% sure.
I'm gonna go with the right. That's like some fake Deadshot thing.
This guy is DC.
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
Although the art style on the left looks more DC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is one of actually Doc. What do you think?
I'm going. When I think one is something, I flip it. So I'm going left is DC, right is Marvel.
Oh, and you know what? I'm actually surprised. Samrock is saying the one in DC, the one in the blue is DC. I think he's related
It's
to like
related
the
to the
Reverse
Reverse
Flash or
Flash.
the
I
Flash
saw
or one of them.
Mm.
So he's actually correct.
Cobalt
DC
Blue.
is a character named Cobalt Blue who apparently is has the face of Barry Allen. I don't know why, but that was the one thing I read about this character is he's got the same face as Barry Allen.
This is like the sad who's who of the big two.
Yeah, it really is. And then Marvel is a character, Ballistic.
Yeah, that's definitely a 90s character with that name.
Alrighty. We've got a couple more here.
Oh, wow.
I mean, left looks like some derivative of Jonah Hex, and right looks like something of Hawkman. I'm going to say they're both DC.
Both DC. Okay.
Mm.
Both DC. I did throw a couple trick ones in here. I know I did 2 DC and I did 2 Marvel in one of them. So I'm not sure if this one's it though.
Zim like that, a sad who's who.
What's up, Zim? Yeah, I'm. This one's looking like a double DC to me as well.
I mean, to me, honestly, if I were to say like the right one looks like a character from Malibu, but you're not doing Malibu, so yeah, they look like I said, they look just like, or that's like futuristic Maverick from Marvel, and that's still Jonah Hex on the left, or Pilgrim, or somebody like that.
We got
Oh,
Marvel
wow.
and DC.
Okay, so I was wrong about them both being DC, but I was completely right about what these characters would kind of be anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Apparently Marvel Hell Scout, this was a character in like some random, relatively like 2012 Fantastic Four one shot or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
So not a particularly old character, as
Yeah.
far as I'm aware. But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Paper
War
Chase.
Eagle.
I wanna find that book now.
Yeah. Paper Chase has got a good one. Right, as if Rocketeer and Archangel had a steampunk stepchild.
Yeah, dude.
Who's the father? Marvel DC edition.
Oh. That's what we're doing next time. That actually could work. There's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember what we got next. Here we go.
Oh wow.
Man, these are kind of small, I feel like. My bad. Sorry, guys. Oh, no.
The
Did I
double
ruin it?
DC.
But that's not right, because like the Astro City one is not DC. I'm confused because if you read what that says, that's Alex Ross's prelims for.
DC Silver Agent.
But Astro City wasn't DC. That's confusing. And then DC Bushido. That's actually a really cool piece of art.
Yeah.
And I think he has something to do with Superboy Prime or something, I believe. Yeah. And then obviously Silver Agent's just apparently a Captain America ripoff.
Yeah. Clearly.
All right. I'm going to try not to mess this next one up again. Sorry, fellas.
It's all good.
There we
I'm
go.
learning. Okay.
Not
What do
much.
we have here? We've got Transformers. We've got Bastard Transformers, and you can't see him. He's Shadow Deadpool. Oh man. I'm gonna go right as DC, and left is like some John Romita Jr. weird thing for Marvel.
I'm oppositing that. Man, this game, it really goes to show how little I know about comics. It kind of kills me.
Well, these are characters that you would only know if you read the shittiest of comics.
Right.
You know, like if you're like, yeah, I read all the 2099 books to the end, like then you would know this. Or, you know, I read Wizard magazine back and forth until the end of the magazine. I know who all these characters are.
I pride myself on reading shitty comics, though. I found one part of what I found on Free Comic Book Day was like a sequential run of Manhunter Volume 1 from DC.
Yeah.
Like the first 8 issues.
But isn't that Walt Simonson art, though?
Yeah.
You can't really, I mean, like it may be a shitty comic, but it's still Walt Simonson.
Yeah, it's good, great art. And I'm enjoying it so far. I'm ashamed to say.
Samrock is doing some real thinking. He's saying the white and yellow one does have a Batman-like cape. It does look a little Batman-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. What is that, like some like one of those crossovers where like crisis on crisis on crisis. It's just like every character has 27,000 versions of that character.
Yeah.
Crisis on Infinite Crises. That's the next big DC event.
Infinity Crisis.
Actually,
I think that was one.
You gotta throw dark metal at the end or something.
Yeah, there you go. Daryl, we're trying to figure out. You got to name what you think. Which of the big two publishers published this obscure character?
Yeah. So one of these will be DC. One of these will be Marvel. And Razor Ramen, bringing a little information. Silver Agent had some one-shots published under Wildstorm. So I guess technically DC now. Astro City is independent, though.
I'll say this about the character on the right. Character on the right has very DC hawk and dove like eyes. So I'm still sticking with the right as DC.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. But
all right. Well, here's the reveal.
Blood Rage.
Yeah. What an
Wait.
appropriate name.
Here's the real question. I'm going to Google it. Marvel Marmot?
Apparently,
Why not?
he's a character that has something to do with Thor and Odin.
I guarantee. Yep, I was right. That is JRJR doing the
There
art.
you go.
That is John Romita Jr.'s art from the Thor run, which would be post Heroes Were Born, but still Heroes Were Born, I think.
Which is funny because read your comics.
That's
Called
right.
it a mile
Daryl, we
away.
love Daryl's the best. If
Yeah.
you're not subscribed to Daryl's channel, you're doing comic YouTube wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, really excited to have him in here for the first time, I think. Big fan of his channel as well.
He's great human being. We've done a bunch of episodes together and we're talking about what we're going to record next because his channel is based on reading and like flipping through comics. Like it's the space that I can do that and have fun and not be upset when nobody watches it when I do it on my channel. But people watch it on his channel, so it's like cool.
Yeah, more of that, please. I love that stuff so much. I hope to do a little bit of that myself. I need to obviously get the proper setup and whatnot, but yeah, I'd love to dive into some of those kind of obscure, or maybe not so obscure, but stuff that gets overlooked like that, because that's the stuff that I just eat up in the dollar bins.
Well, Ramen did suggest Doctor about to make a trash movie bonanza for bad comics. I mean, there's a place for that, and I'd be happy to come shit talk a bunch of comics.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. Definitely.
Got one more round, fellas.
All right.
One more round. Here we go. There you are.
Okay, what do we got? It looks like the right is going to be something from a Marvel 2099 run, and the left is going to be something from some like crappy Justice League book. Here's the thing: most Justice League books are crap.
Looks like a character from one of the Crisis events.
Yeah, it's like Crisis technology guy.
Oh gosh. So okay. So if I'm hearing you guys, we're saying this guy in the white and blue red design here is the Marvel character.
He looks that way because it almost looks like Ron Lim's art, and Lim did some 2099 stuff. So that's where my brain went first. To me, both of these characters look like they also belong in the Malibu universe.
White and blue.
Samrock is saying white and blue is DC.
Samrock probably knows because I sure as hell don't.
That seems very certain.
Yeah, it does.
I don't remember. I love this. I don't remember which one is which at all. I'll give our viewers another second here to ponder, if you will, the question of what if one of these were Marvel and one of these was DC. Sorry, I love Jeffrey White. Right? I've been
I love that. I love that. And also shout out to Jeffrey Wright for being Isaac on Last of Us.
The man just has range.
He nasty.
He nasty. All right. I'm going to do the little reveal here. So we were thinking this guy over here is potentially Marvel. We're leaning maybe that way. And then this guy is going to be DC. Oh, and Razor Rammon getting a last second vote in there. Left DC, right Marvel. All right. Let's do a little reveal. Let's see what we got.
My God. Okay. All right. Let's just talk about the names of these characters right now. Harm.
Yep.
Jesus. And then Savage Steel. So they basically were like, well, we can't make Steel because DC did them already. So we'll make Savage Steel.
Oh my gosh. I wish I remembered any information that I saw about these guys when I looked them up, but I couldn't tell you anything about either one of these characters. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the thing for Harm, just trying to see if I could figure out. I think that is Ron Lim art, but I don't know what book this is from. Maybe Young Justice number 4 could be. Anyway,
I think it was Young Justice actually. Yeah.
And the artist was Todd Knock, not wasn't Ron Lim. Oh well, looks like a Ron Lim. Yeah, definitely 90s characters and obscure world.
This has just been such an interesting kind of to look at it in terms of like your expectations for characters, right? Like you kind of, your brain kind of makes associations before you even kind of like. And it's funny too because you could look at the artist and think, oh, well, the artist mostly does Marvel, or it's such an interesting little experiment, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because you. Oh, sorry, Jacob.
well, and it's crazy too, just how often we were like, "Oh, that that totally looks like a DC character," and then it's Marvel or vice versa. And I I feel like when I'm reading the two publishers, I I don't know, like visually, I know who I'm reading, but then you break it down into just one character, and it's kind of really cool how much they kind of cross over visually, I guess,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
That would be a fun also like micro game to play is this Marvel art or is this DC art? You know, like
Mm,
maybe taking like, you do it in an era so that
mhm.
you're not confusing people by doing like 80s art, then 90s art, then 2000. You do like the 90s and see if you can figure out what publisher that
Yeah,
came from.
Mhm.
yeah,
Especially with some of like the establishing shots of like
Mm-hmm.
cityscapes or anything that doesn't give like too much stuff away. Like there's some really interesting depictions of like cities and like natural spaces that I feel like you can kind of lean one way or the other based
Yeah.
on the tone and atmosphere. But
sure.
yeah,
Or or like a common city that's been in comics, throughout time, and you really know your stuff, but that might be something that goes overlooked when reading, and
Well,
yeah, that
especially
would be
because
fun.
DC uses fake cities. They still
mm,
reference real cities, but all of their
mhm,
main cities are fake.
mhm.
So it would be interesting to play that game in different micro ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to see what I can cook up.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed
Well, and
that.
I had thrown out the idea of maybe throwing in some image characters as well, which would just really, I mean,
Well, that
imagine
to
that.
that would be too easy for me because I could like literally you could show me like second, third, fourth wave image and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's image. I could probably tell you who that is." That's the dangerous thing about images like we bought into it because of the artists.
Yeah.
We had no predisposition for the characters. So, but that was fun.
um, sorry, D&T Collectibles. He sent me a couple pictures today, so I'm just going to show those off real quick so we can
Sure.
make. He sent me this cool, looks like Venom, and I can't remember what this character's name. He's got like the weird arm tube cannon thing.
Oh, is that No, random look completely. Oh, that's one of those X-Men characters, I think.
Yeah, he came in like one of the 5 packs or something with the Marvel Legends stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Yeah, it's not random though.
No, it's not because random was like gray skinned, weird
Yeah.
looking.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that's the King in Black Venom. So I'm pretty sure I got
Mhm.
that one too, which I love that figure. Uh, oh yeah, Samrock sent me some stuff too. I gotta hold on. We're gonna look at some stuff real quick. Um, he also D&T also provided this
Oh yeah.
photo. It's
Craven?
with
No, what is
the
that?
it's the Last of Us.
Oh yeah, there's
Joel and
Joel and
Ellie
Ellie.
just chilling. I think he said he got like a cool little diorama, one of the McFarlane
Yeah, it
back.
looks like a Batman,
Yeah,
Commissioner Gordon or Bruce Wayne's office, whoever had the Shakespeare phone.
yeah.
I guess it's Bruce Wayne.
Uh, and that character
Oh,
from the previous picture,
Bushwhacker.
Bushwhacker
Hmm.
from the war. Oh, that's right. It wasn't. It was
The
the
2-pack.
Punisher. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Oi, I'm Bushwhacker.
Bushwhacker. He's got to be Australian, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he is.
that
If
has
he's
to be.
not, then we want our money back.
Yeah, someone's doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the last picture he shared with us was just this cool little shelf picture
Oh,
with
nice.
Nice.
a couple Spider-Man, some Spider villains, and I actually really like the way he's hanging the Spider-Man up on the wall up there too, which is kind of fun.
I like the upside down Miles.
Oh yeah, Miles. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
No, he
Nice.
is not Australian. All right. Well, they're doing it wrong, ChemDog. We must petition Marvel to not call anybody except Australian a bushwhacker.
Oh, absolutely. Um, oh yeah, Samrock was showing off this really cool little haul he got from Free
Oh yeah.
Comic. He went to I think a toy show. He said on Free Comic Book Day.
Nice.
Uh, Batman from
It's Dark
the
Knight.
Yep.
Frank Miller.
Yeah.
uh, the Bushwhackers were
Oh,
from New Zealand though.
fair enough. Fair
Hmm.
enough.
There you go. Gambit and a cool little. I'm assuming this is a sign. Looks like a
Yeah, it
wood.
looks like
Oh,
a
yeah.
vintage, maybe it's a vintage store sign for the animated series stuff.
It looks like it's wood with this kind
Yeah.
of grain here.
Yeah. What is Samrock? What is that?
Yeah, Samrock,
Yeah.
let me know.
That's sick.
Tell us.
And then yeah, he picked up a couple McFarlane figures too. That Two-Face there, which is I love the colors. The colors on that guy, great.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it went really well with his Joker.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I got that Two-Face on the way as well, and I'm gonna pair it with that Neil Adams Batman Annual 14.
I was
Just
just
the
gonna
close up.
say.
Oh,
I was just
so
gonna
good.
say is that were both of those figures based off Neil Adams art? Because they look like they were.
The Two-Face definitely looks like it. I don't know
The
the
Joker looked like
Joker.
it too.
Oh, what was that one from? I think we said initially when it was announced, but that was a long time ago. But yeah, that would be awesome.
Chemdog's really letting us know who Bushwhacker is.
Chemdog knows his shit.
Yeah,
He does.
I
He does.
appreciate it.
That's awesome. Glad to have him here.
The Joker one is, I believe.
Yeah, it makes sense because Adams is the one who popularized that version of the Joker, and you know, he most. I think when it comes to the Joker, your top artists are going to be Neil Adams, and I think Brian Bolland has to be put into that, and then I think Norm Brayfogle has to be put into that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple others that I'm sure a couple people are going to say in the chat, but yeah, 251 is such a killer book.
And what was the one? What
I
was
really wanted that copy you had in your sale last week.
Yeah, it ended up selling after the show.
I was going to message you after the show about potentially a payment plan, and
Yeah.
I nearly burnt down my house, so I lost all train of thought after that.
Oh, I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
so I'm Wednesday night. I'm here in my comic room while barbecuing on the other side of the house, watching his claim sale, claiming books, and then it dawns on me that I had meat on the grill. So I run out there. It'd probably been when I came into the room, for whatever reason, the meat was almost done, and I was in here for probably 15 minutes.
Oh,
And I went out, and my whole grill, the top was closed, and flames were coming out of the side and the back. It was crazy. I singed off my arm hairs, my eyelashes and eyebrows were burned. It was
Jeez,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah.
Comics aren't worth it, man. They're not worth it. Actually,
Well,
they are.
yeah.
Just don't cook meat on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, exactly.
Takeout, delivery, and Dave.
Yep.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I got a great haul still though, so
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you got some good stuff.
what
I
was
appreciate
that it was like a ash can. I'm really dying to get it, but it was like some earlier on Limb stuff. Do you know what that
Oh,
was?
it's so Silverwolf, which published most of the early stuff that Lim did, Eradicators, a couple other books. It basically is like a black and white self-published printed zine to
Yeah.
let stores know these books that were coming out. And I believe like each book has like a 3-page preview in there.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
I can't wait to get that.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. I mean, Lim's early stuff is you can see the makings of what he would shortly become thereafter on
Yeah.
that stuff. And you look at like, yeah, Eradicators is the book though. I think that's his first book.
A lot of oh gosh. Slipping my mind. George Perez influence in him,
Oh, for sure.
which I think he worked with early on. So
Yeah, and then obviously on Infinity Gauntlet,
mhm.
which I was pointing to the poster that's
Oh yeah.
there.
So yeah, usually at the end of the show, Sloth goes through picks out his books for
FOC.
yeah.
Because I forget to do it, and this just works out.
It's a good way to keep yourself responsible.
Yeah, and accountable. Everyone can see what
that's the word I was looking for.
See what I'm purchasing. D&T Comics and Collectibles had a nice little question. Would a 5.0 still be considered a mid-grade?
I consider it a mid-grade. I don't know if it's generally considered that, but when I look at a graded book with a 5.0 and I think, well, the highest grade is a 10.0, well, what's half of 10 in the middle is 5. So Mathematically, I'm right, but I don't know what people consider mid-grade.
Yeah, I guess when you get into the nines, it kind of screws things up because they
Yeah.
have all, the 2, 3, or the 2, 4, 6, 8.
6 and
Yeah.
8, yeah. And 9 and 10. So it's like, but those are all varying degrees of near mint,
Yeah.
So it is kind of confusing. So D&T, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah. By the way, Sloth,
Yeah.
another one that I forgot to mention, you asked about books that I'm reading that I love. Bitterroot just came back for its next season or whatever you want to call it. And that book is fantastic. And Sanford Green's the artist, a co-creator. He also did the Doom book that, you guys had talked about a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. And if you like the movie Sinners, then you should read the book Bitterroot.
Okay, that's good to know. That while we're talking about that Doom book, have you guys seen like the big like
The
trade
Treasury?
back? Yeah, that they put out.
Yeah.
Gosh,
You got one, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah, I have a copy. Actually, kind of a little bummed about it, but
really,
it's just the paper that they used.
Yeah,
They didn't use a matte stock; they used a glossy stock.
that was the one thing I noticed when I was holding it. And I was like, this should feel better.
Yes,
know, gorgeous book, just peak. But yeah,
absolutely great book.
Yeah,
they've been doing that with a few books. Didn't they make larger copies of the Hush 2 as well?
Yeah, Hush 2's got that's even oversized. That's bigger than the Treasury. It's bigger than a Life magazine.
Oh wow.
But yeah, they've been doing that. Then Marvel's just Marvel has their head up their ass. Let's just say it. Their head's firmly planted up their ass when it comes to printing and putting out books like in a quality that they should be. DC is doing it with their facsimiles, and their treasuries are all printed on newsprint. They look great.
Yeah.
So
I'd rather take a cardstock. I'll pay that extra buck for a cardstock every day of the week.
Yeah, there's that too. Oh, look at that Savage Dragon cover. I love it. I love Larson doing the homage there.
Yeah, I love that.
It's so cool.
I like that they have the 70s trade dress variant, just to give you that option.
Yeah, I love that.
Are you have you checked out the Lucky Devils yet?
No, what is
or
that?
had any interest in it?
No, I don't know that.
Oh. That's a really I'll let you explain it, Sloth. You're more articulate when it comes to that.
It's written by the guys who did 8 Billion Genies, so Charles
Soule and Ryan Brown.
Ryan Brown, yeah.
And it's just kind of like another kind of like in that spirit of just like comedic, kind of like introspective, little philosophical. And to be honest with you, I've only read issue 1, so I'm a little behind on it.
Yeah.
But it's just another kind of like easy read. It's fun. Lots of that comic book humor that I feel like lots of people strive for, but only few can achieve.
Yeah.
So that's Lucky Devils.
You mentioned that, and I was just like, you flipping past Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon is exactly that. Like, it's funny, it's dirty, it's old man Larson doing what he wants, and nearing his 300th issue, and it's still fun that he gets to do that.
Yeah.
It's so that must be because Spawn's on what, 365?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah. So they're on 270. But I thought is that volume 2 of Savage Dragon then?
No, it's because Larson writes and draws it. So he has, he's finally kind of gotten himself on schedule, but because he's responsible for the whole book until it gets colored and lettered. So that's why it's a little bit slower. Whereas Todd worked on and off on Spawn, but never really stayed on it until what, like 270 something. He stayed on it long term, 170 or something. I can tell you I haven't really enjoyed reading a Spawn book in a long time.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's I feel like each issue definitely, as someone who's been reading, because I've been reading since like the early 300s. And that's just when I started collecting comics.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it was right before they did like the Spawn universe and the Gunslinger and King Spawn and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that it's one of the most like an issue will just hit and it will hit really good and I'll be so invested in Spawn, and then the next issue I'll be like, what happened? You
Yeah.
know, like where did the story go? You guys were in the middle of a thing. Like, where did the thing go?
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a
feel like
shame.
that's, yeah. And I still love the artwork in a lot of those series. I mean, Brett Booth, who
Oh,
does
Booth's great.
Mm-hmm.
just incredible. Yeah, I love his
Yeah.
stuff.
You know, it's funny. I think pretty much anybody that's ever read Spawn, looked at it, been a fan, has never complained about the artwork. Like
No.
there have been some artists that may have not hit as well. Like I think a lot of people previous to 300, I think a lot of people might have been turned off by some of the John Boy Myers stuff, but then they grew to like it.
Mhm.
The complaint's never been about the art ever, you know? And it's a shame because like
Yeah.
Todd Bendis wrote the first Sam and Twitch series and it was so good. It was so good. And then Todd fired him, whatever. They had their disagreement. And I feel like if he would just relinquish it to a great writer to take it, it would be pretty awesome. Chemdog mentioned the Wills Portacio run on Spawn, another fantastic run, art wise.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I see that now. Shoot, what was that about? I just saw something. Oh, it just reminded me because there's a new Thunderbolts movie, obviously.
Mm.
yeah,
So Marvel has to do their thing and put out a new Thunderbolts comic.
of course.
And I'm actually really stoked for this one. Have you guys seen the lineup?
Is that Carnage X-23? Is that Amadeus? Which Hulk is that?
I believe it's
I don't know which Hulk is still out there. Oh no, it's
just as the Hulk.
all right. So it's just regular Hulk. Carnage,
Just a regular Hulk.
Namor, Clea, Wolverine. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Clea and X-23 being on a team together was never on my bucket list. But by God, I don't even care about the rest of the lineup. I don't even care about the rest of the book. I just want to see these two doing anything together. So I'm really excited about this one.
It's the new Defenders, Thunderbolts, asterisk,
Yeah.
new Avengers.
Yeah, new Avengers.
Chemdog says yes. PKG Hulk.
Jay, I don't know who that is. I'm not well versed in current Marvel. I gotta admit.
I'm not well versed in the Hulk, to be honest.
Marvel won't do. Jesus, Daryl, he's right.
Marvel will do a facsimile of with none of the characters from the movie. Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did just see that movie last night, and we can talk. Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Oh,
Yeah.
Philip Kennedy Johnson. Okay, I now it makes sense.
Still doesn't make sense to me.
He's a writer, right? Yeah, he's a writer.
Oh, gotcha.
So I guess it's the Hulk. I don't know. It's the Hulk he created. People like Philip Kennedy Johnson. I've never read anything of his.
Fair enough. But yeah, that new Thunderbolts will be coming. If you guys want to get it, you know where to order it. The local comic book shop. Is there anything on the list for you guys tomorrow that's coming out that you guys are really excited about?
Mm.
I don't know what's coming out. So look real quick.
I did actually have a pretty large quantity of books.
A little bit of a pull list this week.
A little bit, yeah. I can't remember a single one though.
I'm finally gonna get that first of the new heavy metal because my LCS is getting it tomorrow. That I'm excited for. The new heavy metal magazine.
I think issue 2 of Absolute Green Lantern comes out possibly.
Okay.
That sounds right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. And I think this week is also. Is there a
Jedi Knights maybe?
Godzilla Heist comes out tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Godzilla Heist, hell yeah. Is it already May 7th? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
ridiculous.
So
Oh, The Moon is
Ultimate,
Following Us comes out tomorrow. Issue
yep,
number 9.
yep. More Ultimate Wolverine, some Two-Face.
Yeah, I'll get that
Uh,
one.
yeah, there's a couple things coming out.
Can I
It's
plug something for tomorrow specifically?
absolutely,
Of
yeah.
course.
So tomorrow night, so every 2 weeks, well, every week that I don't do a sale, I do a live show on my channel. It's just called Wednesday of Chat and Chill. And tomorrow my guest is Sean Crystal, who is not just a comic book artist, but he runs the Ink Pulp podcast channel with Mateo Scalera and Jim Mafood. And he's also an instructor, an art instructor. And he's releasing a new sketchbook, an art book via Kickstarter. And he's a good dude, great artist, and just a great person to listen to if you want to learn how to be a better artist. And so, yeah, he's going to be my guest. And we'll have a lot of funny stuff to say because it's also known as Two Jews, One Podcast.
Right on.
And
Yeah, I'll be there.
what
Yeah.
what time is that?
6:20 p.m. our time, Pacific.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. Make sure folks and again, we've got the links in the description, so you guys will be able to find it.
And I'll share it on my story as well, so anybody that's in here will see that at least.
That'll be a lot of fun. He also, if you're into online stuff, he is Ink Pulp on Marvel Snap, and he's done a lot of the most popular cards on Marvel Snap.
Oh wow.
I was not aware. I'm a big Marvel Snap player too. I guess I better get looking into what's
Type
going
in
on over there.
like when you want to search, just Google Ink Pulp Marvel Snap, and you'll see all the stuff he's done. He's a fantastic artist, a painter, and just great dude too, who's been in the business for a long time.
I probably have a variant or two of his on the game. Then that's pretty cool.
Probably
That's
do,
sweet.
yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. Any last thoughts you guys want to share with the folks at home before we wrap her up?
I have so many thoughts. I mean, yeah, I could have thoughts on anything. Jacob knows.
Yep.
Well, we really appreciate you hanging out with us, Dave. And
yeah, I appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, definitely. I probably refer to you at least once a show, so I think it's only right. And
I think he's.
Hold
I
on,
think
can't-
Doc's your biggest fan, to be honest.
yeah.
Well, there it is. Well, I got
yeah.
we got to hang out in Portland last year. That was last year, right? Yeah, we went and had I met you at Sizzle Pie, and we dug some. I mean, look, the photo that's on the paper and plastic thumbnail, I took that of him while we were at Fallout Comics. Well, Jacob's a gem. You're a gem, dude. You're a gem. So
Appreciate
I can't think of a better adjective than that.
He is.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, everyone. Thank you guys for watching first and foremost. But if you feel like it, there's a subscribe button. You can just tap it, and you'll know when we're coming up next. There's a bell. There's a like button. There's a comment button. Hey, that's so cool. So do all of those things because it supports us, and we want to keep supporting this endeavor in every way we can. So we thank you everyone for tuning in, and we thank Dave for taking time out of his week to chat and hang out with us and play some games and share some laughs. So thank you, Dave.
If you came from Dave and you're here for the first time, please subscribe and check us out every Tuesday. This is what we do every Tuesday. It's not a lot to it. We talk about the things that we all love, which I assume is the reason they're here. So and maybe we'll have you on if we get to know you enough. So
well, I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a lot of fun. I enjoy not being in the driver's seat every once in a while.
Yeah,
it's nice. All right, thank you guys. Thanks everyone again so much. We're going to be wrapping her up there, and click the description. You'll find the links for everything. Thanks, guys. All right.
See you guys.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Oh, it didn't
See
work.
you.